See you. I hope you'll come back soon. All right, folks, joining us now, Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn. Senator Blackburn, welcome. We've been talking a little bit, but this business about Palestinian humanitarian aid run by Hamas. Donald Trump put an end to this. It resurfaces for $1 billion, and I fear, Senator, and you're ringing the bell on this, thankfully, that this meeting between Biden and Netanyahu, Biden's going to demand, quote, more and more humanitarian assistance to Palestine, which means Hamas.
That's right. You know, that is what we have found out, whether it is the UN Relief and Work Agency for Palestinian refugees or any of the other entities that are involved with aid. Hamas is getting the money. We know from the Relief Agency that they have that $730 billion that has gone in there. This agency has hired Hamas-affiliated individuals. We know Hamas has stolen that money. We know that they have hidden weaponry in the facilities of this agency that are located there in Gaza. So letting them have access to these funds is not a smart thing to do. And we know that one of the things I've got in my resolution, Larry, is that we would halt all funding on that agency until Iran is expelled from the UN.
Wow. All right. I'm for that. 100%. Can I raise another point, Senator Black? You believe that...
That was kind of deep. Let's back it up for a second. Let's listen to that again. Go right there.
That are located there in Gaza. So letting them have access to these funds is not a smart thing to do. And we know that one of the things I've got in my resolution, Larry, is that we would halt all funding on that agency until Iran is expelled from the UN.
Wow. All right. I'm for that. 100%. Can I raise another point, Senator Black? You believe that Jake Sullivan, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, should resign. You've called for his resignation, and you've said he's routinely misled the entire government about the status of security threats around the world. And I would say, ma'am, most particularly misled about Iran. But you tell us.
Yes, indeed. And you can go back to the work that he did in 2015 in the Obama administration. And he was wrong about the JCPOA and Iran and what they would do if we sent them the billions of dollars in pallets of cash. And then he misled the public with Russiagate and Hillary Clinton. Now he is back. He has helped to cook up this hostage exchange and the $6 billion. He was out there a couple of weeks before we have the Hamas attacks on Israel, saying that the Middle East is calmer than it has been. And you look at his advice to the president on Afghanistan and the Afghanistan withdrawal. You look at the statements that they have made to the American people, calling that withdrawal a success. Look, under Jake Sullivan, under this administration, we have a very confused and muddled foreign policy. We need a clear-eyed policy. Our enemies need to fear us. Our allies need to know that they are our ally and friend. And with Jake Sullivan in this White House, what you have had is an administration believing in appeasement and thinking you can go negotiate with terrorist organizations and get them to do what you want them to do. That is not possible. They are trained to kill you.
What she's talking about right here is on the money. And if you'll go back into prior administrations like Reagan and other administrations, they had a very, very stiff strong spine whenever it comes to these terrorist groups of not giving in to their demands. Right now, because of what's happening all over the world, especially what's broken out over in the Holy Land just recently, every American, true red-blooded American, needs to be very, very conscientiously cautious in where you are, in what setting that you're around. In other words, I don't think it would be wise to drive up to Flint, Michigan and go to snooping around a bunch of people up there that can't even hardly speak our language. It has become so unsettling. It has become so unstable that if there has ever been a time that we as Americans needed to be overly cautious, it is today. Because we are seeing events breaking out, not just in our own neighborhoods, communities, not just in bigger cities or whatever, but we are seeing an invasion, a spiritual invasion that is infiltrating God's people up onto this planet. And please, please take these words serious that Miss Blackburn is talking about as Tennessee State Senator, because she is on the money. She is on the money. Why we have had various people in there playing tootsie footsie with the enemy is beyond me. I continue to say that our ancestors would be rolling around in their graves right now because of the way that we've handled our affairs in the past 30 plus years, and I guarantee you they're doing just exactly that. They're rolling around in their graves. They're shaking their fist at us up above because you do not give away the farm.
And they go around chanting, "Death to Israel, death to America."
You know, ma'am,
And chanting, "Death to Israel, death to America."
You know, ma'am.
And chanting, "Death to Israel, death to America."
You know, ma'am, Walter Russell Mead in today's Wall Street Journal, you ought to read it. It's a fabulous column. He's a very good historian and foreign policy guy. Senator Blackburn, last one. I don't have much time, but somebody got to pay attention. Tomorrow, the sanctions on Iranian ballistic missiles end. I don't know if anybody knows that. I've been talking about this all day here on the network. Someone's got to pay attention to this. I mean, not that the UN's perfect, but their inspectors have been, I'd say better than average on Iran. But the sanctions formally end on Iranian construction and purchase of ballistic missiles. How can we do this? How can we allow that?
It is inconceivable that we would allow this to actually expire.
It's inconceivable that the black market will sell you a nuke for $10 million. There is so many loose ends right now. The danger level has increased tremendously just within the past 3 years. And it's only increasing every day and getting even more dire.
We have had problems with this administration not enforcing the sanctions. So for goodness sakes, this is one you need to keep. We do not want Iran, the world's largest sponsor, state sponsor of terrorism, to have ballistic missiles. We don't want them to have nuclear weapons. We don't want them to have money that they can go fund terrorism around the globe.
Thank you, Senator Blackburn. As always, spot on, right to the point.
You got it.
You got it. Thanks, Matt.
I personally believe that Iran's already got nuclear missiles. I personally believe that Iran's already got ballistic missiles. I personally believe that they've just been laying low, waiting for the right opportunity. That way they can do a pile on onto Israel over there, and the next nation is going to be us, America. Death to America, death to the Israelis. This thing is real. This ain't some sort of fictitious Hollywood script. This isn't somebody just blabbing off a bunch of crazy stuff. This is real. And if America does not pay close attention to what's happening, we may lose not just our democracy, but we may very well lose America. Please, please pray for the people over in the Middle East pertaining to the Holy Land and everything that's going on. Please pray for the people in the area of the Ukrainians, of what they're going through. I just got through listening to a report where they had a pretty big skirmish over there, and they defeated the Russian combatants. Iranians have done real well in basically fighting back the enemy, because secretly we allowed for them to have some long-range missiles that they done very good on. Once more, it's not democracy that's being attacked. It is God's chosen people that are under the gun right now. And if you have ever had a true relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ, you need to be extra vigilant, because I promise you, these evil, demonic, wicked spirits working through these people are lurking. You hear me? They are lurking to find a Christian to take out, because they know within their own souls the demonic forces that they have been under, that they have followed under, are soon to come to an end. God is going to put an end to these demonic demons, these spiritual demons, once and for all. And because they know this, the Bible's very clear in stating that Satan will come down in great wrath, because it or he knows his time is short. We're going to see more outlandish behavior, not just over across the pond, but right here in the United States, if we do not become more vigilant in what the heck is going on around us. And to be quite honest with you, I put a lot of this blame on the international exchange student program pertaining to our colleges and universities that have allowed for these individuals to come over here and study us, spy on us, analyze us, figure out where our weaknesses are. This is the only country in the world that any and everybody can come over here, and basically, if you've got other kind of currencies, you can exchange it to American currency, and you can basically buy whatever that you want if you got the money to buy it. We are so vulnerable because we have not had a strong spine in understanding just exactly how serious that this thing is whenever it comes to this spiritual warfare. We are under attack. We are being invaded. And if we are not smart enough to identify these things and stick together, it may very well be to the Christian's doom here upon to the planet. And that's what we're actually fighting against, are fighting for. The Christians, the true born-again Christians, are fighting for their own liberty and their own sanity and their own will to survive. And there was a reason why that God's Son, Jesus Christ, said, let the wheat grow with the tares until time of harvest. They do not want the wheat to survive because they know that they have lost, and they rather take the wheat out in thinking that if we take the wheat out and we become the dominant force upon the planet, then there won't be no eradication of these evil demonic spirits. I got news for them. You are already doomed. If you have not given your heart and your life over to Christ, you are doomed. Because of the spirit warfare that began thousands and thousands of years ago that is now finally coming to a head. And if we as Christians do not understand that, comprehend that, and accept that, then you'll probably wind up in a horrible, bad situation that I don't know that you're going to be able to get out of, because I've never seen so many pitfalls. I've never seen so many entrapments. I've never seen so many lurking, evil, wicked reptilians walking around that wants to destroy God and God's people. And if you're thinking that the devil, Satan, is going to come to you with the horns in his head and a red pitchfork with a long tail, you're automatically deceived. Because the devil is going to come to you in the most pleasantest form that he can think of. And that can be money, that can be drugs, that can be sex, that can be power pertaining to politics, that can be 1,001 different ways. That, trust me, he knows your weaknesses, and that will be the area that he will attack you in. And if he can manipulate you, if he can trick you, if he can entrap you, that's exactly what he will do. We are working against something that is supernatural. And we, as red-blooded humans, not just Americans, but red-blooded humans, if we do not recognize this towards their motives in what they're trying to do to us, then you're automatically either confused or you're incapable of understanding these things for some reason, or you're just not listening to other people such as myself towards trying to give you warnings and advisories towards what the heck we're all up against. Please, please pray for the people that are going through these horrible, horrible issues that inevitably are probably going to get worse before they get better. And I ain't just talking about necessarily the war, the Israel being at war, or you Ukrainians being at war, but I'm talking about war right here in our own streets. War amongst ourselves. Good luck to all of us. God bless our great nation. God bless our troops. And God bless the Christian society that are right now wreaking problems up onto this planet like we have never seen before, because of this wickedness that has come down to try to impenetrate us or even intimidate us. Please, please pray and become united in the Lord Jesus Christ. God bless America, and shalom.